Susan.
Robbie, God, it is you.
Yeah, it's me, in fact. Yep. It is.
Robbie, go!
That's nice. Just be careful. I'm, hygienically challenged.
I can't believe it.
I guess I cleared the train again. Always feel bad about that. So, just you and me here. I know, it's been years and days and hours and minutes and months and moments, hasn't it? In fact. Hi.
Hi.
Where are you heading?
Home. Home.
Where's that?
It's 83rd and West End. Yes.
Oh, I bet it's very nice.
It's very familiar.
Great. Familiar can be very comforting.
It can be. I guess I don't mean familiar in a comforting way.
Oh. Well, why not?
Well, because there was a husband there, and now there isn't. Not important anymore. But this is you. You're familiar in a comforting way.
Is that possible?
It is. I've thought about you a lot.
Same here. I mean, when I'm... My head's sometimes can be, impacted with people or the sound of them, but when they empty out, sometimes there's grace, rare moments, nostalgia will occur, or I'll be able to read and something will there, for instance, you'll be out of the blue after all these years, which is very merciful.
Where are you headed?
Funny you should ask. Our alma mater.
Oh, you teach?
No.
Because I still go up and attend readings, lectures, every now and then. Just recently, I went to hear Joan Didion read. So what do you how?
How am I? What have I been doing? I've been on disability for 12 or so years. Off and on, and off, so forth.
Oh, okay.
How about you?
I work for the Public Art Fund. I evaluate applications for things, which means I push around paper for a living, for a life in lieu of.
I would say it's a life devoted to the arts.
That would be kind of you to say, but you've always been so kind.
Public art. Those painted fiberglass cows a while back.
Yep, that was me. Us. Everybody liked those dumb cows but me.
And me. They had a nasty habit of commenting every time I walked past.
So, where are you in the city?
I've been, best to, homeless. Transient. In a variety of locations in and around the greater metropolitan area and beyond. But as luck would have it, one day around Christmas, last Christmas, I was riding the 7 train. I changed from the F to the 7 at 42nd, and what I thought was a desperate yet shrewd attempt on my part to give the slip to these two seeming secretary types who'd been looking over at me and whispering on what I thought at the time had to do with a large conspiracy. Anyway, to make a long story short, as the cliche goes, I jettisoned my original plan to go to the 40th Street Public Library to get some reading done and stay warm. They're pretty accommodating they are there, as long as you don't sleep, or at least snore, which is the problem is I rarely sleep anywhere. I had escaped these two girls and was riding somewhere. And while I knew I was successful in temporarily giving them the slip, so to speak, I was also suddenly feeling, quite frankly, a little end of the line like. Because I knew I couldn't go on escaping. And as I said, it was Christmas, which only exacerbates the circumstances. But then I saw the sign glowing out at me as I rolled along on this train. Feeling depressed? Free treatment at the Columbia University Depression Evaluation Research Department. You know, I actually laughed. Our alma mater, reaching out to me, calling my name as it were. I'm trying to stay on track with the medication they're providing, gratis, and it looks as if this studio out in Queens might be opening up. Someone at the clinic keeping his eye out for me. And here you suddenly are. My life is complete. Oh.
You probably never even realized how smitten I was with you. How exotic you were.
Exotic.
You weren't from Larchmont or the Upper East Side. You didn't go to Dalton.
No, definitely not, no.
You did it all on your own. And that's what so enthralled me about you. You'd already read everything without any guidance from anyone. And you carried it all in your head. You had the entire modern library in there. Freud and Jung, Vasari's Lives of the Painters, the Greeks, Chaucer, Dante, Milton, the American Renaissance, the moderns, the postmoderns. Everything. I just stared in wonder at that head of yours.
I had hair back then, too.
I remember I asked you, and you said you came from nothing. I remember thinking, how can someone who came from nothing know everything?
Just knowledge, you know? Just books. You know, it was actually a relief to discover that everything from Aeschylus on is actually in Beckett. A to B. Birth was the death of him. So much more portable.
I knew you were a genius.
Susan, please.
The only genius I'd ever met. And that's why I fell so happily for you. Sorry.
What do you have there?
Oh, nothing, really.
Come on.
Oh, well, this bowl.
Oh, very pretty.
Trying for a Tuscan thing in my kitchen.
So, what else?
Well, this top. Color which I wasn't sure might make me look like I'm trying too hard to look, what's the word, young, and I decided it might not. Bottle of wine, read about, sounded good for later tonight. This spray, French lilac, and issue of Metropolitan Home.
Nice.
Yeah, it's happened to me. I went to Columbia, the Whitney Museum Independent Studies program. Christ, I've become insipid.
What do you mean?
I mean, you carry around Beckett, and I have Metropolitan Home.
You have a home, I don't.
I have an apartment, and I do things and I buy things to fill up time, I guess, is what I mean.
Sounds like you're just a little lonely is all. Besides, you were the one who knew the entire history of art. I mean, you taught me more than a few things. I mean, it's one thing to have read Vasari, but can you imagine not knowing the difference between analytic and synthetic cubism?
You knew the difference.
What about your uncanny ability to distinguish between a Braque and a Picasso? I mean, who else could expound with exactly equal enthusiasm about a Duchamp ready-made urinal and a Bellini Madonna? And I certainly never looked at Eva Hesse the same way after I met you. And that color top is definitely not too young for you.
Would you like to come to my place for some of this wine that I bought?
Oh, gee, you know, Susan, I haven't touched alcohol in years.
Then just come over.
Well, I have this appointment. I hate to disappoint.
I wondered and wondered what had happened to you since then.
Well, been a rough 14 years.
Is there a way I can reach you, if that's okay?
Well, I'm not really reachable. Kinda here and there, you know?
Well, can I give you my address and phone number?
Oh, okay, sure, great, yes. Right there. It never leaves me.
Okay. Please call me, will you? Or here, just take my cell. Just take
Oh,
it.
no,
You can
I
call
can't,
me
really.
anytime
No,
you want.
It's too much.
Call
No,
me if you're in
really,
trouble.
No, I can't. I'll lose it. It'll get stolen. Really, it's okay.
Well, here, at least.
Oh, Susan, no. I just.
Let me give.
No.
I have 5, 6, 7, 8. Christ, fuck! Damn it!
It's okay.
No, it's not okay. I'm an idiot. I had all this money today. I would have given you. Do you know how much I spent on a $4 on a freaking cappuccino, and $5 on this magazine? I mean, do you know how much this stupid spray cost? $22 and $30 on this bottle of wine. I had all this money and I could have given it all to you.
I don't want your money.
Well, what do I do?
Well, why don't you spray me? No, I'd like that, really.
Come to my place. Please. You could take a bath.
No, just give me a little spritz. Go on. Nice. Susan, you don't have to look so sad there.
I don't. Do you know how much you meant?
I think your stop is next.
Look, I'm just not prepared to leave you like this. I'm just not. So why don't you just come and stay at my place? I have the room.
Actually, I really like being by myself.
See, it's funny, but I don't. Do you know how far my life has gotten from me?
All too well.
For a second, I thought this was a second chance, maybe, being handed to us, me, you, if I may be so bold. A second chance for what, you might ask? 18 years is a long time, isn't it?
That was your stop.
Adam Bierman, Brigitte with Bierman, a powerful, powerful scene from Jody Wood's improv class, Serena, Jain, Edward Liu. What did we see here? Jody, take the lead. We have 5 minutes.
It's an acting class with a lot of improv involved. in the process. But we just saw, what was the name of the title of this?
It's You Belong
You
to
Belong
Me
to Me by
Daniel Wrights.
Daniel writes.
Daniel Wrights, who, by the way, gave you the rights to do this.
Correct.
So he was very generous in that. So tell me, how do you feel about doing this in this setting as opposed to doing it on stage?
It was a unique and interesting experience.
Yeah?
I enjoyed it.
I think this may be the first thing I've ever done on camera, actually. So,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
No, kahunas for you though. I mean, too. I mean, just from watching it one time, I was watching other people's faces in the control room. There seemed to be an impact, a visceral impact was being made of these kind of poignant people
Yeah.
running to each other. You know,
Pat hasn't had that much sleep in months.
Yeah,
You know?
and stuff.
It's good.
I was always wondering what you learned about each other, what you learned about the process of trying to you know, drum out of you these kind of sad characters expressing a lot of emotion in a short period of time.
Tell
Well-
me, yeah, go ahead.
I think Jody taught us in the very beginning. I remember one of my first classes, this list of questions to follow when you're getting to know the character and understand who they are and where they come from, and basically, just everything about this person. You need to know it. You need to learn it, or you need to create it, and then that's how it all comes out. Just really get to know this person truthfully, and that really helped. That's what helped me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I would also, I have to say, I learned a whole lot from doing this just because the play itself is so literate.
Yeah.
Right.
We learned a lot. We figured out who Vasari was, and I actually read some of that, and because so much of it needs that context. But yeah.
Which is one of the great things about acting is when you take on a role like this or several others where if you dig that deep and you really get into the world of these people, you will, as an actor, need to research that stuff and learn about things you normally wouldn't learn about. So, a well-crafted actor is pretty well schooled in different things, depending on what role they're playing. So you learn, you play a doctor, you need to learn enough to be dangerous,
Right. A lot of literary references, you mentioned it in that too. But when you were doing this, you were trying to get, I'm just curious about the craft. What you were trying to give some tips, even though we had to throw you out of the studio, to try to get what were you trying to impart?
I was just, because again, first time doing this on camera,
It's hard.
there's a lot of stuff going around. It's not the exact setting that you were used to.
We didn't get a chance to rehearse or block.
Right.
Yeah.
You're just coming here for the first time.
Cold.
Where am I going to come in from? Angles, mics, and all that. I just was trying to tell them to get back to the basics of where were you emotionally in the moment before you came on the train, or in the moment that you were sitting there. What's going on in your life right then? It's not about what's about to happen. It's what's happening right now. What kind of world am I in while I'm on the subway platform? And it's that moment that leads you into the rest.
Did that help at all? Did you kind of forget about the cameras and us bustling about you and trying to get the sound
absolutely.
check and everything?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, the mask goes on, and you are going to become the character for
It needs to stay
the
on.
moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And you'll see if you start doing films, you got to stop and do it again and bring it every time.
Right.
Right.
It can be very tiring.
Sure, my God. If you have a really emotional scene and by the end of the day you're not tired, you did something wrong.
Right. In our final 30 seconds, though, did you feel ever depressed in a good way, though? Did you feel like you became the character? Did you bring it home with you ever? Or did you channel it through other experiences of your own?
I mean, I definitely felt what this woman feels. Some of these emotions she feels are very common. Regret, loneliness, compassion. So all of these types of emotions she's feeling for him and about her life, I can relate. I think anyone can.
In final 20 seconds, Ed, give it to you.
I think because of the nature, playing somebody who's schizophrenic, I was kind of a little conscious even of not bringing it home, of really trying to separate myself from this character, because I did a good amount of research and trying to find out what it is, because I wanted it to be truthful. But yeah, I was always at least a little conscious of separating myself from the character. He's similar to me in a lot of ways, so it was something I wanted to be.
You smell better than him, though.
A little scary.
Generally,
Yeah, woohoo!
usually.
Thank you, Ed, Serena, and Jody, of
Thank
course.
you.
Serene,
Thank you.
visceral,
Thank you.
very good job. It takes
Thank
a lot of kahunas, whatever the word is, to come on. And we'll be right back.